As we're getting into this game, it is going to be moonGLaDe, who's apparently on Nevermind. I actually don't know what this team NVM is. I don't know if guys in the stream want to see that. I'll poke my head over to the left and see it. We shall be going into moonGLaDe, who is going to be the purple Zerg in the bottom left, going up against mouzCC.MorroW. Obligatory message, you may drop frames. I've got new computers, parts that are coming. I should be able to build it today and give you guys hopefully 1080p tomorrow's stream. That'll be awesome, but for now, we've got just a simple, low quality, but it'll still be awesome. I can guarantee the game quality is going to be much better than the actual stream quality itself, but hopefully both will be even better tomorrow, as tomorrow should be the Korean qualifiers that I'll be able to watch. But for now, I just want to point out the fact that we are watching mouzCC card coach's MorroW, who is the yellow Terran in the top right, and yes, Terran. He does not like ZVZ. He chooses to play TVZ instead, and he is quite a beast at it. I believe MorroW was actually one of the original people to actually race switch. He went from, I think he was pure Terran and then went to Zerg. And I think the only other person at the top that's really actually done a race switch that's well known, I believe, is LZ Gamer. He was Terran at the start and then he switched to Zerg. I think Goody was thinking about race switching after the Blue Flame nerf. I think he was considering switching to Protoss, but as far as the top level goes, LZ and MorroW I think are the few people to really do it. And actually still be at the top for it. So it looks like moonGLaDe is on Team Nvidia. Thank you very much, Zerg. This is going to be really, really awesome. Or Envy. Is it Nvidia or Envy? This is going to be interesting. Nvidia or Envy, guys? Because neither one, Envy, Nvidia, they both work with the little NV. Alright, well, moonGLaDe is going for his hatchery first, which is perfect standard for the TVZ. And MorroW has actually got a barracks in a really odd spot. Notice where his supply depot is. It's looking like he kind of is preparing to have a 3 supply depot wall. That kind of makes me think that moonGLaDe could Baneling bust this and actually be really, really effective with it. Bane busts aren't really all that common anymore against really anything. Sometimes Protoss can get a Baneling busted on, say, maps like Entombed Valley. I know in the latter it can be quite a powerful strategy, and it happens fairly commonly, especially on the Korean server. I played on the Korean server one time, and literally 4 out of 7 PVZs were all Baneling busts. It's kind of funny, actually. And it's really bad when you're going into a game you don't know what race your opponent is because it's in Korean or Taiwanese, because that's what the client I have is. And then you're like, oh, well, now I know it's Zerg. My gateway's in the back of my base. And then it's like, oh, hey, Baneling bust. It's a terrible feeling. That's a terrible, terrible feeling. So, we're going to see MorroW right now is completely gasless, so his gasless expansion is underway. We will see if he's going to decide to throw down a double refinery and then go for say, reactor Hellion. He could just stick to one and go for, say, one Hellion at a time at a reactor, without the reactor, and move in with a bunch of Marine and Hellion, which is incredibly powerful, and there's nothing wrong about that. It's just different than what can be the standard sometimes. Although theoretically, you could always just see him rush for Banshees, as a lot of people do like to use Banshees as a follow-up to the Reactor Battalion after the gasless expansion. They are both incredibly versatile, powerful, and gives you a lot of map presence as the Terran. But just so you know, with MorroW playing Zerg as well as Terran, he knows both sides of this TVZ incredibly well, and it leaves him to basically have one of the best understandings of ZVT, I would say, in all of Starcraft 2, because he knows every single situation. He's a pro gamer that plays both races. It's rare, but it does happen. Actually, if you guys didn't know, in Brood War, Rhett used to play Terran versus Zerg instead of ZVZ as well as who I think Phoenix played PVT and TVP, and then played TVZ. I think those were his versus Zerg, Terran, and Protoss matchups that he liked to play. And look at MorroW going for a 3rd command center already. So he could go for a later factory, which he's going to be doing, and going for a reactor next. So he's basically doing the old school reactor to Hellion expansion, but just whittling in a command center at the start of it. I actually kind of like that timing. It looks like it'll shape up quite nicely, and it'll give MorroW a very strong economy, which is something that is always good to have. I mean, there's nothing wrong about having a good economy unless you're over economizing, economizing, ecoizing. It's the Normonomicon. That's a weird reference for you guys, the Norway-Nomicon. Alright, so now we're going to be moving along as we're going to ignore what I was saying before, and we've got the 4 Marines just going across the map. There's no bunker placement at all. moonglade is doing too good of a job going for creep tumors and spreading his creep around the map rather nicely. His third's being taken really soon, which is very much what he needs to do. He doesn't really know it yet, but there is a third command center out for Morrow, and that will shortly be a really soon third base, probably a quick third base. My god, my English is failing. I'm sorry guys. I am sweaty, my toe hurts, and it's now been 5 hours. I just hit the 5-hour mark of streaming. I'm bound to be making mistakes. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I'm gonna be making mistakes. I hope you guys don't hold me to the highest standards for this series. It's going to be a good series play-wise, but who knows what the cast is gonna sound like. I've already tried to make up a word, and that's never a good sign. So far, the only successful made-up word I've actually done is fungulation, which is pretty self-explanatory. But oh, look at that! moonglade has now seen this base. He sees that this third command center is done, and now moonglade knows he's got a lot of macro to go ahead and try and catch up on. And we got the attacking coming from Morrow with a couple of Hellions going across this. Alright. As these Hellions are going across the map, there are a lot of Queens that are going to be in play to try and deal with this, as moonglade already's got 2 in his natural, and he's actually, wait a second, is it 4? He's got 6 Queens out. Where are the other 2? I selected, oh, they're over here. So you got 6 queens there on the field. Definitely plenty to deal with this. As other queens even being made. Does he have more queens? Nope, just the 1 queen. Sad days. We got only that 1 queen at that third. It's got to feel really, really lonely. But the bayonets is coming along the way, and actually there's no lair tech. We may be seeing some kind of baneling bust even still right now from moonglade. He did see the fast third, so he's got a very vulnerable wall today he's also staring at. So he could literally have this work out. Morrow's actually choosing to go for a Raven. What? A Raven instead of a Banshee? That's going to be really, really risky, especially if a Bane Bust is going to be coming out from moonglade, as Morrow's not going to have that much anti-baneling stuff. He's basically relying on getting out a nice bit of splash damage from these Hellions to basically deal with both the Zerglings and the Banelings. After all, if the Banelings aren't split up, then one shot from these Hellions, even though they're not that good against non-light units, would just absolutely wreck any count of Banelings that would really be able to come out. Because I mean, if they're all splashed with 8 damage per hit, it's not going to matter how bad Hellions are against them, because there's just so many of them. So Morrow's getting a more and more. Is he going Mass Raven? This is his second Raven. It was his first Raven. But it only has 50 energy. I thought he had it, or as it built before. Oh my god, my brain is failing. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh. Alright, so moonglade's got a Spore Claw now going to his natural expansion. He's got one in his main base as well. Considering the fact that he did see that there was a starport with a tech lab on it, it's very, very safe to go ahead and do that, and you pretty much want to every single time. But now that we've got a Raven and some Hellions out, we should be able to see this creep spread be really easily denied, as Morrow will just be able to detect it and not need to actually throw down scans or anything. But, oh, the Lings on Creep are going to get a nice job of actually going for it, but, oh, Morrow picks off that, he picks off that Zergling. He actually roasts the Zergling. It's got to feel good as a Zerg to sometimes just be able to use Hellions and use it against another Zerg, because then you get to dish out the pain incredibly effectively. But now I do see Morrow's siege mode is done. He's got a siege tank out in the front. He's going to be looking like he wants to push out and do a little bit of damage. He's not that far behind in the supplies, so things are looking pretty even so far. But if you look around the drone count, it's actually scarily even. Zerg does not want to be this even. It's that really quick third orbital command that Morrow has done that's really giving him a good solid position economically, and why he's able to push out so nicely, even with moonglade taking a 4th base. But there we have our creep tumors going down, and Banshee one-on-one beats a queen, but oh, moonglade's got so many. Oh, look at that touch! The PDD gets thrown down, and that means the queens are going to be able to do nothing. But there we see the energy going down from the point defense turn, and it does end up dying. Which is a nice little move, because the PDDs last forever, and it could end up literally being a scout. I don't think anyone really uses PDDs as scouts, but how long do they last for? 180 seconds. The auto turret also lasts. They last the exact same time as an auto turret. You could literally have a PDD and an auto turret down for an incredibly long time, but here we go with a massive amount of banelings. We're having a centrifugal hooks baneling bust. Morrow needs to start targeting down these banelings. Those are the big threats, and we're going to have them stream across. Look at them going straight into this third base. Morrow's going to be forced to lift off this command center really shortly, and there we have the banelings, the purple banelings. You're ready to watch them as they're marching up. They're going to stream in, and you're ready for the explosions and the death. MorroW has not retreated anything yet, and we have the death of the Orbital Command in terrible graphics as we watch it push forward, and there is no longer a third command center from MorroW. But to be honest, MorroW might actually be happy with that trade, as he actually did not lose that. Excuse me, he did not lose that many SCVs or anything. He's got another command center building right here. It did not die, and the amount of banelings that were wasted by moonglade, look at the units lost at. That is very, very, very much something that MorroW is definitely okay with. He's not worried at all about losing that third base, because now he's going to go ahead for a counterattack with all of these marines and tanks going down to the bottom right side. There is no base here, so we're not going to see siege mode attacking here, but look at MorroW. He is going to go ahead and check that to see that there is no hatch, and now he'll move in and engage down here. But with these creep tumors down, moonglade will have creep and vision of this attack coming in. But this command center is almost done, and here we're about to have the engagement moving as we do have the SCVs pulling. We've got a lot of stim on those marines going down. The tanks aren't sieged up yet. Now they siege up. There's a ton of banelings though. The lings are getting a full surround, but the banelings get the big explosions they need against those marines. But these siege tanks are now tanking for those marines, and there we go. We see another group of marines moving to play, and honestly, it seems like MorroW has actually managed to potentially move in and do a ton of damage against moonglade. moonglade has lost so much. MorroW has not. MorroW's being very cost effective with his units, showing a really nice understanding of the TVZ matchup. Another stim is happening. The Spine Caller does manage to get a kill off on top of one marine, but there we have this ooh, look at that. The micro of MorroW's looking pretty solid, but there's a lot of lings out. moonglade is 1-1. MorroW's 1-1 as well. But with this, investors, is it not gonna, it's not gonna, oh, if it fungals, he's missed an opportunity to kill off the medevac for free. If he fungled it while it was in range of that Spore Crawler, that would have enough DPS to take it out completely. That does not happen. 15 drones, and look at that Hive Tech. Hive Tech is coming along the way, and we've got 81 drones out. This is going to be really, really crazy. 7 more infestors, but do we have a Spire? If we have a Spire, we'll be seeing Broodlords. If we don't, we'll probably be seeing Ultras. Ling Infestor into Ultra is pretty powerful. There's no 3-3 yet, but 2-2 is done. So once Hive is done, we should probably see Adrenal Glands +3/+3, as well as an Ultra Cavern being thrown down. And then once the Ultra Cavern is down, we should see Chitinous Plating, and then we'll probably see moonglade go for a big push, and he'll maybe want to expand behind that push as well, and that should lead into the most powerful ZVT he could be doing in this particular game as far as strategy wise, unless he wants to actually try and get out Broodlords, which is, it could work, but it's not as smooth a transition as going to Ultras in terms of this particular set of games. But right now, we've got extractors now completed, and we see moonglades already saturate them immediately. Gas is the most important resource for Zerg, especially when you're starting to enter the late game of ZVT. But MorroW's ready to go ahead and stim and run ahead and try and hit this base pretty effectively. He's probably going to time it also with this attack as well. Yeah, there is this drop going to be coming in. They're moving down behind the middle line and now attacking. moonglade, great reaction time. We've got another drop down here from MorroW as well. He's going to be able to pick off this Spore Crawler if he wants to, but these Marines are in the most beautiful choke ever. They're 2-2 against the 2-2 link, so upgrades are pretty much even. MorroW is actually continuing to be effective. How? What? They're pushing forward. We got infestors hitting down here as well. MorroW's got a lot of tanks into play, and he's doing a great job with his macro, but this medevac gets killed off trying to heal off that marine. But moonglade's got a healthy amount of infestors, 11 infestors. He's going to land some nice fungals. The Spine Caller is doing the most it possibly can, but the medevac is actually healing faster than the Spine Caller and fungal can deal damage. That's a little ridiculous. Just saying, that's ridiculous. That's insanity. But looking back over here, we have more army back in the main base of MorroW. We're having some more scans going down. Not scans, fungals going down. I'm mixing up all my words today. And MorroW's got these marines that are continuing to be very, very effective. And we have more drones coming out. The Ultra Cavern is going down somewhere on the map, probably in the main base. We're going to ignore the death that's happening over there, because there's the pretty Ultras Cavern. But more deaths are going to be coming on, because who knows? Who would ever think that the attacking could stop in TVZ? It's not going to be done. MorroW is now doing a great job of continuing to siege mode his way into a nice spot here. But oh, moonglade has actually locked himself in with some manor-invested Terrans. That's kind of funny. That siege tank almost in range to pick off some of them, but not quite. But the auto turret is down, doing a nice bit of damage, and this hatchery will be falling. moonglade is not going to be able to save that anytime soon. We see the scanning back here. MorroW's just trying to make sure he does have a beneficial positioning, but right here we got the command center being trying to morph into a planetary fortress, but it will end up getting canceled, and MorroW just doesn't lift it. What? MorroW, there's no reason for that. No, MorroW, not cool. Alright, so we're having a bunch of tanks continue to push forward. His macro is looking to be incredibly solid. His money is low, but his gas is high. He can always get more Ravens if he wants to, but we're having a lot of Ling and Infestor moving down. One Fungal will kill that Raven. Oh, no, it won't. That's actually not armor. It's only light. We need one more Fungal to kill off that Raven. And there is that Fungal. And so moonglade does get an Infestor with a kill. And take a look at that. Cracklings. We've got the 3-3 there, and we're going to be seeing so much damage being done soon. But actually, I don't think he started his chitinous plating. Yep, no chitinous plating. So I called everything but the really necessary upgrade. Yeah, that's not so good. That chitinous plating is really, really key for those ultras to make sure they're still pretty tanky against those marines. Alright. This is really, really interesting, because right now the Ultra's starting to push forward, as this Ultra is going to go ahead and take down the Marine over there. Tanks are starting to inch their way forwards as we're actually seeing them moving forward. They got to be careful. They are on the ramp. There we have the attack coming in. They're moving forward. Great engagement by moonglade right now. He's going to go ahead and spawn some infested Terran. Ultras are trying to get their way into getting a good angle attack. MorroW's guys and Marines here. He's going to need to split them a little bit, but there's enough tank support in there. He forces those Ultralists back and is doing an incredibly solid job as everything is being handled so well by both players. We got a top left and a bottom right expansion coming in from moonglade. He hasn't been able to use them yet, but here we have all these infestors. They're actually going to get picked off right now. If MorroW is focused firing them down with the tanks, it looks like he actually is, but the infestors are doing some nice job with the fungals, and all the ultras are streaming forward, and MorroW is taking losses rapidly. More fungals are landing. The spreading of MorroW is incredibly solid, as we are seeing how many frames per second? A whopping 10 frames per second. Oh, that is the way Starcraft should never be. Alright, so the ultras are pushing forward. You might be able to see this one game picked off. It's got 8 health left, but the tank is picked off before it can get that final shot. And that's going to be really, really unfortunate. But MorroW's got so many Marines back here as it is. He's going to be able to push forward. He's going to get that second Ultra. No! Ultra actually manages to escape, but still no chitinous plating. That's very, very necessary to get those 5-3 Ultras out. But there's MorroW with another command going to be going down there. He should be able to get that into PF shortly, and that will allow him to have massive amounts of income down there, because he'll actually be able to keep the base alive as opposed to it being picked off like it was before. But these mules are continuing still going down, as all of the moonglade's drones are kind of at this base. You see his income is really solid, but he's not as spread out with the drones as he could be. This bottom right base has not been utilized, and his top left base has not really been utilized either. So MorroW's expansions are looked to be really, really in a good position. These creep tumors do manage to actually root, and we should be having these ultras and links and infestors trying to break this position here. And this queen is gonna stay alive. It will also be popping down a lot of creep tumors. It can actually be used to also get some transfuses on the ultras to keep them alive. MorroW, though, just using all the energy for the creep tumors. Now we're seeing the busting forward. The Bane is here. Oh, is MorroW not going to split in time? MorroW looks like he just may split in time. He does pull back. The Banes will not be connecting, at the very least, with this big clump. But we got some Marauders into play now. The Ultras are getting hit. The second they see the Marauders, they will be pulling back. Ultra falls, and we still have 5 left, though. And my brain is starting to really dwindle in terms of its health as, oh my god, my head just went so light. Hooray! Fatigue and everything. Alright, so we're going to continue moving forward. MorroW is actually, this is an epic game right now. moonglade is really showing that he is in nice form. MorroW has got to lead the food, but, right now, moonglade is in a great spot, but as MorroW's seen top left, he has not seen top left. He is, however, attacking bottom right, and as he's doing this, he's going to be scanning, taking down more. He might be able to pick off that infestor, but he's going to move away in time. But we have actually another drop from MorroW. He's going to move in and start attacking behind the mineral line. Drop basically next to his attack. It could still really work, but moonglade is going to take the opportunity to bust the units that are here now that MorroW is not supported very well, but we've got a lot of Marines here spread out half decently, but enough that they're going to do a fair bit of damage against these Ultras. They are very low on health. moonglade definitely needs to go ahead and get some really, really important transfuses down. But more drones are falling, and drones are now going to be going straight into the clutches of a couple of Marines. That's really bad. Look at how many workers have been killed by MorroW so far. This PF has now been completely shut down, but MorroW is continuing to harass. moonglade is down at 55 drones. You got no drones over there in the top level. We actually have the drones engaging against the drop. Worst possible thing ever, but we got a Marauder in the front ready to tank some damage, and Marauder is going to stay alive and not get destroyed by the Ultra. But look at how close it is to dying. Deep, deep red all around. And here we have MorroW once again for the 3rd time going to be trying to take this expansion. And moonglade just needs to answer the drops. We see that he's done a lot of good engagements. I mean, the Ultras are being incredibly effective, especially considering they do not have the chitinous plating. and they're still managing to do a great amount of damage and stay alive. And I hear transfuses actually. The Ultras are getting even better staying alive, because now that we actually have some of them getting transfused, their health will be much greater. So moonglade is finally making use of this top left base. This bottom right base, you could actually oh wait, those are not larvae. If those are larvae, you could have built a drone and then built his hatchery down there in that bottom right spot. But right now, moonglade is just working, getting out his Infestor, Baneling, and Ultra mix up into play, and looks like he's going to be ready to go ahead and start pushing. MorroW's got a nice position, but the PF's not done. If moonglade can engage before the PF is done, that'll be a huge benefit to him. It's got all of 10 seconds, but it looks like he's preparing. The siege tanks are attacking. The infested Terran bombs are coming, and here we go. The Ultras are starting to pressure the front. The PF's not done yet, and we're having siege tanks getting assailed by the Ultras, and there we have the PF now going down. But there's a good enough spread of units. MorroW trades incredibly effectively, and this was unfortunate for moonglade. He calls GG, and now we'll be able to breathe. Great game. MorroW always had a little bit lead, and moonglade was so close to coming back into it so many times. He just had the great engagement, but he wasn't able to follow it up with enough units to really make it worthwhile. But he really hung on amazing well. MorroW's just too good with the TVZ matchup on both sides, and it clearly he knows exactly what to do. That is super effective. That really fast third command center that MorroW had was pivotal in giving the economy that allowed him to basically match or be just behind moonglade's food count the entire game. So really well done by him. Let's go on to game number 2 next and see if moonglade can make a comeback.